Hello everybody, this is Shockinator 1000 reporting for duty, welcoming you back to more Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Nearly watch the intro then. In the last episode, we've managed to make our way here to the 4th floor, which is actually found outside the mountain, surprisingly enough. This time, we found ourselves above the entrance of City Dark Island that we was actually originally in before, because you can tell that is the lift that Master Griever was obviously using in the cutscene when we arrived. Got 1 PP max over here, which is actually a very, very good item. Before I use the item, I want to actually see which moves have been PP upped and which ones haven't. Okay, so none of Jolteon's has been touched, nor has Celio, nor has Fabraver. God of War's Psychic has been touched, but I've only used 1 PP up on it. Thunderbolt only needs 1 more PP up before it's actually max PP. Because the max PP for Thunderbolt is 24 and it's currently 18. Psychic's not been touched, and Fire Blast has been touched by a bit, but not a lot. So the majority of the PPs was basically used on God of War. Alright. So I think what I'll do is I will use this PP Max on Celio's Ice Beam. And also give the Macho Brace back to Fabraver, because she's been gaining a lot of experience lately. And we'll give the XP share to Slapper. And then put Slapper out and put the Devil in. For a minute, I thought I saw a battle CD then. Alright, so we're going to be riding these weird looking lifts. Wait. Oh, hang on. That lift that you saw going up and down then, we actually want to take that lift. So I'm going to have to like run back as fast as I can to get over there. Right. I honestly thought you could reach that from the lift area down over there, but you actually can't. These lifts really do not stay still for long. Whoop, hey, get back on there. Ah, perfect timing. But yeah, if we take this, it will actually take us back to the floor that we were previously on. Because over there is an item box that's guaranteed to be missed, containing 2 max potions. Now we'll take the lift back up. Then go over this one, and then just go back to that lift on the far right hand side. That is if this lift does not keep making me have to wait. Okay, there we go. Now we can run back. And we can now officially make it up to the 5th floor of this area now. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we go up another floor. We're now on floor 5. And yeah, guess what? We got the strength puzzle, aka with the cranes again. And Egan sends us another email. Michael, I hope you are well. I've been keeping well too. I have a message from my partner, Biga. Okay. From the both of us, we hope for your success. Well, thanks, but I don't think Pikachu says Biga. I think he says Pika. But anyway, Take the yellow crane over here. You didn't think you'd go that way, did you? But honestly, you can see there is an orange crane over there with an item box. We cannot reach that item box. So, the only crane that we can basically use is this one. Alright, pick up this item box containing 3 timer balls. May be very handy in case you need them. Take the red crane over this way. And we do obviously have a purple crane over here, which I think takes you back to the very beginning. Yeah, it takes you back to the very beginning. So, that item box over there, you want to remember that location. There was also another platform that you just barely saw on the bottom of the screen. You want to remember that as well. Remember where those platforms are. Surprisingly enough, no trainer battle. Straight up to floor 6. Now, the reason why I want to memorize this, those glowy panels, if you step on them, you will fall back onto that crane room floor. This is basically like one of those cave puzzles where you drop down a certain hole and hope for the best it takes you to the right location, otherwise you have to start from scratch. And I don't persistently know which ones are indeed the correct one to take, because half the time I often pick the wrong one. Not on purpose, but mainly because of the fact, should have known they had Volt Absorb. One thing I'm actually legit surprised about, the fact I've had this Houndoom for a very long time, ever since Cypher's Desert Lab, and yeah, I've had this Houndoom since the Shadow Research Lab in the desert of the Ore region, and he still has Ember in his move pool. Speaking of, by the way, we have a Shadow Pokemon of Lickitung. Lickitung, in my honest opinion, is kind of a annoying Pokemon. Just saying. The fact that I just can't really say anything useful about Lickitung, to be honest. I have actually used one before, not in gens 1 to 3, but I have used the Lickitung in its evolution in the future games. And in all honesty, it did not work so well for me. So, in all honesty, Lickitung can be useful in certain methods, but I can't see that to be the case. We're just going to leave that Lickitung alone and just get rid of that Lantern. Because Lantern is another Pokemon I don't particularly find fascinating. I mean, many people often say Lantern is an underrated Pokemon because of how much HP he has. But the fact that, yes, he does have a good amount of HP, but he lacks in everything else. His speed is kind of average, his defenses are low, his attacks are kind of lower than what they should be. He's kind of... yeah. Kind of a Pokemon that I don't actually want anything to deal with. Right, there we go. We'll finish off that Lantern, and hopefully we can weaken off Lickitung good enough for us to snag it. I mean, it is honestly a hard Pokemon to snag, I'll be honest. His catch rate is not really the best in the world. Surprised to see Electron spring himself up in the air with his tongue. Alright. Successfully laid off the bite. And I was unfortunately putting myself in confusion with Houndoom. Oh well. Not to worry, got the flinch anyway. Right, bite. And we'll see if we can try and snag it. I don't really want to waste my time with a Shadow Lickitung that I'm never going to use. See what I mean about it being hard to snag? Jolteon! Come on! Alright, use another Ultra Ball. Got it that time. I swept you off your feet, then why are you standing? Alright. Now this obviously does call for a perfect moment for me to heal up my Pokemon, but the closest healing machine is kind of really far away. So we use one of our last remaining Super Potions. We use it on Celio actually. And then we use our Hyper Potions on Mewtwo. Alright, so memorize these panels. If you want to be very silly and actually decide to activate each and every one of them, be my guest. But this one actually takes you to the platform closest to the left. This one takes you to the one that's got the red crane. This one just takes you towards the very center, where you're right next to the orange crane that you can't use. This one, though, is the one you want to take. There you go. Max Revive. And by the way, yes, the cranes reset if you leave the room. So yeah, that platform with the barrel on, that's where the far top left-hand corner on the upper level takes you. There was one that actually took you pretty much down here, which I think was a location down there, possibly. I don't know, probably down here. But yeah, there are two important platforms for you to take. And by the way, when you've actually fallen down from the platform, it will no longer be glowing when you go back up the lift. So, thank your stars so you don't have to accidentally take the same one over and over and over again. Okay, there you go. So just run around. Don't take that one because it takes you right to the very beginning of the bottom floor below. And I don't take that one either. You want to take this one down there. But first, 4 full heals. Now let's take this panel. There we go. 2 revives. So yeah, that other panel that you saw me not take, that would have landed you right in front of that purple crane switch. We'll take the cyan or azure crane. Am I right? Take cyan, azure, pale blue. I don't know. Sometimes certain colours you often hear that I'm not really a massive fan of trying to mention. I mean, I understand the standard red, blue, green, yellow, purple, pink, black, white, grey, etc. But something like violet, azure, cyan, etc. Colours with complicated names. I don't really see an interest in trying to mention them. But anyway, a trainer battle over here. Leiden. Alright. Using a normal team, I see. With Stantler and Exploud. I can't necessarily say if I had my Dusclops in the battlefield, you would literally struggle. But I'm not going to say that because of the fact that they can both learn dark moves. Stantler can learn Fate Attack, Exploud can learn Bite/Crunch. So, yeah. Let's bring out the power! Critical hit yet again. Her face! Oh dear. Alright, so we immediately knocked out that Exploud, and we have a Shadow Pokemon. Scyther, Bug Flying type. Is a very interesting Pokemon, this one is. I've actually used a Scyther in future games and decided to actually not evolve it. Because there is something that's actually very hard to do with Scyther, and that's to make him a defensive Pokemon. I actually attempted to make a very defensive Pokemon of Scyther and give it the held item of the Eviolite. And believe it or not, it actually worked. He managed to successfully take super effective attacks like a champ, including rock type moves. Scyther has a quad weakness to rock, and he took a Stone Edge very, very well, even though it did do a lot of damage to it. But it basically brought his HP down from max to exactly half, thanks to the Eviolite plus max defense stat Scyther. I legit did that, and when my friend tested it out, he honestly gave me a standing ovation, like giving me a round of applause for attempting something that was known to be impossible. Which I greatly appreciated it, because yes, it is not easy to pull off a defensive Scyther, and I managed to pull it off. No one else, I believe, has ever done that. I'm basically the only person so far that has successfully made a genuinely good defensive Scyther. But Scyther as a Pokemon, he is very good in offense, physical wise, is pretty fast. But it's not really the greatest defender in the world, like I already mentioned with the whole Eviolite story. But he can actually evolve it into a Sizzle by trading holding onto a Metal Coat. But if I can honestly say, like, they are both really good in their own way, because Scyther really does hit hard and is really fast, but he does pack a lot of weaknesses. Whereas his evolution Sizzle is only weak to fire, but he can get one-shotted very easily, whereas Scyther, you could basically be like, I'm going to be faster than you, launch an attack, switch out, done. You cannot hit the Scyther. Kind of like that. And the other Pokemon I've just completely been ignoring this entire time, Chansey. Honestly, do you want my personal opinion? Don't even bother using it in this game. You can use it in future games, but don't use it in this one. His base physical defense, I am not kidding, is lower than you think. It's actually the lowest base stat of any stat in the entire Pokemon universe. His base physical defense is 10. His pre-evolution, Happiny, is 5. And his evolution of Blissey is also 10. So, with that coming to being said, do you want to try and use a Chansey against an entire line of shadow Pokemon where the majority of them are physical attackers? Hell no! Believe me, you do not want to waste your time. So I'm basically saving you the grief and hassle of having to deal with something that you know is not going to be easy to pull off. Yeah, I'm just remaining quiet down here for the time being because I'm kind of like thinking my thoughts real quick about what to do. Oh, Andrew got knocked out? By who? Who knocked out? Between that Shadow Chansey and that Shadow Scyther, who knocked him out? I took my eyes off the screen for a split second, and then all of a sudden I see Houndoom fainting. I'm like, what? Well, we'll just call Cyclops. We'll try and snag that Chansey first and foremost, and then we'll eventually snag Scyther in the next turn. That is if Chansey does not break free. Alright. Okay, raising my accuracy of my Cyclops, but losing evasion in the process. Chansey fully paralyzed. Right. We're trying Ultra Ball on Scyther this time, and Cyclops, you can be called once again. There, that's one. Now it's just got to deal with that Chansey, because Chanseys are very hard to snag. I am not kidding. Like I'm going to escape anyway, Chansey. Honestly. We'll try one of our timer wars, because we have actually been in this battle for quite some time. Done. Finito. And at the end of that battle, that brings us to a good stopping point. Next time on Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, after finishing things off on the 6th floor, we will be seeing what is up on this lift. See you guys then.